If you've ever felt a quiet nudge or maybe just a strong unction to share your testimony on YouTube, but you wondered how to do it with wisdom and peace and clarity, this video is for you because your story matters. And when it's shared with intention, YouTube can become a beautiful place for testimony, not pressure, not performance, but pure witness. And today I want to walk you through how to share your testimony on YouTube in a way that honors God, respects your story, and genuinely serves the people who find it. YouTube is a unique platform. People come here to listen. They come here to learn a lot. And often, and I think this may be one of the most overlooked reasons people come to YouTube, but they come looking for hope. I know that's been me more times than I can count. As a creator with a disability, I wanted to know that it could be done. And I was just looking for other people who might share things in common with me. That makes YouTube a powerful space for testimony because you're not rushing past someone's attention. Instead, you're inviting them to stay in your world for a while, or as my grandparents used to say, come and sit a spell. But testimony on YouTube works best when it's shared with thoughtfulness and structure and spiritual intention. Not really because there's a right way to do this, but because clarity helps your story land gently and meaningfully to impact the most people. Before you ever press record, here is an important question to ask. It's really a grounding question. What does this story reveal about God? See, your testimony is not about just what happened. It's about what God showed you, what He carried you through those hard circumstances or times when you just thought that you weren't going to make it. Your testimony is also about how God continues to teach you through your past, present, and even about your future. When you begin in that place of asking the question, what does the story reveal about God? Your testimony naturally becomes more peaceful, it becomes more focused, and it becomes more encouraging to others. It's clear when you do it this way that you're not spotlighting yourself, and that takes such a load or such a burden off of your shoulders because instead you're pointing back toward God's faithfulness with every word that you share. So since we have established the grounding question for sharing your testimony, now it's time to talk about the structure. One of the kindest things that you can do for your viewer is to give your story a shape that they can follow. And here's a simple structure that will work beautifully for you on YouTube or really even out of the social media world. Step 1, where were you? Here you're going to share just enough context to help someone understand your starting point. Every good story needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. So this is the beginning. Number 2, what God did or revealed. This could be a moment, it could be a season, it could be a slow unfolding of a story. All of that counts, but here you're focusing on what God did in that time. And the third thing is where you are now. It's not perfection, it's just perspective. Sometimes we recognize, all too often we recognize, that we are still in the middle of our testimony. Our testimony up to this point is where He's brought us thus far, but it's an ongoing thing. But a huge part of your testimony is sharing where you are now. So using this structure of where you were, what God did or revealed in that season, and where you are now, this simple 3-step structure helps people follow your story without feeling overwhelmed with too many details. It gives them enough to know more about you and God's story in your life, and it also gives them just enough to feel like they can apply it maybe to themselves. And it helps YouTube also understand who your video will serve best. If this is helping you so far feel more confident about sharing your testimony, I'd love for you to like this video and subscribe. This channel is here to walk you through this process slowly and wisely through testimony, and your support helps this space reach other people who are going to need encouragement too, and that's what we're all in this together for. One of the most liberating things to understand about testimony is this: you get to share with wisdom. You get to. You don't have to, you get to. You're allowed to protect parts of your story. You don't have to share everything. You're allowed to wait until it feels like the right time, and you're allowed to speak from healing, not from pressure. So if you're wondering if this is the right time to share your testimony, here's a helpful guide. Ask yourself these questions. Is this something God has given me peace to share specifically at this time? Does this bring clarity or confusion? Which is it? Am I offering hope, not just honesty? Do I feel the need to speak poorly of other people as I'm maybe sharing about a difficult time in my life? See, your testimony doesn't become powerful through exposure. It becomes powerful through obedience and love. When your testimony on YouTube is clearly titled, thoughtfully framed, and centered on God's work, YouTube actually does a pretty good job connecting it with people who are searching for exactly that kind of story. People don't just stumble across testimony, they're actually looking for something they can connect with. And your story can become that. When your story is shared with clarity, it really becomes that invitation we were talking about earlier for someone else to stay with you a while and to encounter hope through your story, knowing that if you made it through whatever that circumstance was with the Lord's help, He'll help them do the same thing. That's what people are looking for. People go to YouTube looking for not just information, but they go looking for hope. Your testimony doesn't need to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be. It does not need to be finished, because the truth is, as long as we have breath in our bodies, our testimonies are continuing to be built. Your testimony doesn't need to include every detail. Some things are just meant not to be shared, and that's okay. Some things are just between you and God. Your testimony just simply needs to be faithful to your God story. That's really what it is. And hey, if you are enjoying this and you want to keep learning how to share your testimony with wisdom and peace and purpose, I invite you to stay here with me. Hang out a while. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to continue in this journey together. And just understand this: the word of your testimony matters, and it's worth sharing well.